Right, so to take the grill off, to take the lights off, there's a bolt there, bolt there, bolt there, take the grill off, and then you've got a bolt there, and underneath the grill there's a bolt in there, so that will take your light off, and we're going to do that now. Very easy to do. It's literally a 2-minute job. I've only got 2 bolts on mine. That pulls off like that. You see you've got your temperature thermometer in there, and then underneath it, just take that off like that. Lay that down on the floor, and there you'll see but you don't lose that one.
Drop that direction now. That way.
And that all pulls out like that. So, as you can see, behind there's a little clip. Push down on the clip, hold on to your light while you're pulling it out. That comes out like that. Tuck that away. Don't want to get that to get wet as you're working on the light. That can go up there. So there you have it. Right, light is off. So now we've got it off. As you can see, I've given it a little bit of a clean on the back, just makes it easier to work with. So just give it a wipe down. So the first thing we're going to do is going to get access to the bulbs. Obviously we're not going to touch any of the bulbs. Oop, it's stiff. There you go. 1, 2. Some of them are a little bit stiff if they haven't been off for a while. So there we go, we've got access to the back of the bulbs. So, with this particular light, we have a sort of reflectors, the silver plate, and these 2 lights on the end here are attached to the back plastic housing. So before we even start attempting to take the light off, we're going to take 2 bolts out, and these bolts are housed here and here. If you don't take these off first, then I'm afraid you're going to have problems taking the lens off with the heat a little later, simply because they're attached to the lens, which we've got to take off a little bit later. But if we don't take them off now, we could potentially crack and break the light internally in the infrastructure of the light inside, so they need to be taken off now. And of course we keep them nice and safe. What we're also going to do, the beam light down here just needs a slight twist, and that pulls out. Obviously we don't touch the bulb again, we just, because that's connected to the lens side, we'll just put that inside, let that rest there, then we can start. So before we start using the heat gun, we've got a number of before we start using the heat gun, there's a number of fasteners on here and clips. I think there's 6 in total, 3 in the top, 1 on the side, 2 underneath. So you literally just work them off. They're not particularly difficult to get off. Obviously keep them because we need them for next time. They're easy to come off. They just keep that tautness and the lens and the housing and the back housing. I use a towel on the counter here. Obviously I'm on the kitchen counter, so I'm going to keep it, don't want to scratch it. So that's 4. Here we go, number 5, number 6. Oops. And that is now ready for warm treatment to get that mastic off the back. So we're going to use a cheap paint stripper basically. It's nice hot heat, a bit noisy, so you might lose me over the next couple of seconds in terms of getting this seal nice and warm. On this particular light, again, as you'll see on here, this light, there's a bit of plastic that tucks behind there, so we're going to start from this side, pull it off, and then pull this out, because a little bit of like that plastic there just goes behind this lip, so I'm going to make sure I pull that out. So here we go. Nice and warm, a good temperature. Just going to start on this edge. What we're going to do is a flat screwdriver start. You can see it's getting a little bit gooey. Obviously you don't want to chip your lens, so you just got to take it very slowly, as you might be able to see there. Starting to come away. And the best thing to do, if you've got some wooden blocks or something that you can wedge in there to stop it coming back. So obviously this mastic, it's just going to spring back. So if you've got something to wedge in there, and slowly, so you don't do too much, you don't want to be chipping your light, so, or breaking the plastic. So little bit by little bit, it's coming away nicely there. The first pass, here we go. So I've got my gap now. That just helps break through the mastic a little bit. There we go. You find your first hole like that. Get something wedged in there to keep it apart. Then you can run your knife around it. You want to keep the mastic in the same place really, so if you can take a little bit off, make it a little bit easier for yourself, then so be it. As you can see here, if you wedge it, get to a certain level, you see the mastic stretching there. If you can run a knife through that, keep it in the same place. You see, don't those long spider web moments. You just cut through it. Keeps the mastic in the same place as well. You see that then starting to separate on its own, which is good news. Now we've got the top and sides prized apart. We're going to now run along this part here, separate it a bit further, and on the end we're going to do that last. Right, okay, now we heated that up a bit. We're going to start prizing that apart. You see it's starting to come nicely now. very good. Happy with that. Oops, a little bit heavy-handed there. Let's get that one through. Another one prized in there. Plenty of mastic on this to go back nicely together, which is great news. When you haven't got a lot, that's when you really need to worry if you need to buy some more, because that's going to make a nice seal, a very good seal. So I'm pretty happy with that. And that's pretty much nearly there, except for the end. Oop, wrong way. On these stringy bits, just make sure you feed them back into, see when you take them out, just make sure you feed them back into the run there, and make sure they're all together on where this is going to make a re-entry in a bit later when you finished your lights. So that is pretty much it, except for this end strip here, which we're going to work on next. And I said with this has got a bit of plastic that fits into it, so we're going to be pushing this away like that when we heat this up. Now we've heated that up and it's coming away nicely. Yet again, I found it's easier to use a Stanley knife. Obviously you've got to make sure you don't cut anything. Same with these bits, make sure you feed them back in where the seal is going to go later. You don't want them dangling out everywhere. And also while these are warm, make it narrow it out, making sure that the seal is going to be there. Bring it to the surface, the top of the, and pretty much that's it. And those are the couple of bolts that you took out earlier, so you haven't ripped that off. And that's the top all done. So the last thing to do in here is separate the lens. As you can see, we've got it's like a star key. So there's one bolt here, one bolt there, and one bolt there. You need to take these three off. Get it kind of gently, because it's a lot of plastic and the tension might crack. Save these bolts. Should now pull away from the lens itself. Oh, still got a little bit left on mine on that. As you can see here, there's two little levers. Now that screws off, it just leaves these are under and out there and there, so you don't snap those two off, because that's what holds it in. So there you go. So now you've got your three parts of your light and your lens all separated there. So part 2 of this video will show you how to attach your halos to your lights. It's getting a bit long, the video now, so that's your light separated, ready for the next stage on the second video with the series.